weapon damage, increased rate of fire, and max health of armored cars. That is actually very useful because quite often you have to rely on your early, light armored vehicles because there are no good armor commander abilities early game until you hit like level 6. So, having to retreat here, huge squads of Volks on the right. You can see just really dominating map presence now. Even has the presence of mind to already have a anti-tank gun out. Very important for access players who are going infantry to just predict that your opponent is going to go for an armored car and have the counter available. And you can see great positioning here. This is just beautiful. I mean, just look at, we've got all of the infantry in the front, capping stuff here. They're taking some shots and some casualties, but that's okay because they're within half-track resupply range and backed up by a anti-tank gun way in the back there. This is a very strong position for him, especially since he's capping stuff right in the front. So now here comes a nice-looking attack. We've got Wilson's Rifleman taking up the right, and then looks like the Greyhound's backing off now that it's getting some pack shots, and a bunch more Riflemen coming up in the middle. Recoup losses is activated, and all of the firing is just going like crazy here. It looks like Wilson's Rifleman taking a couple of casualties here, and boom, Fatherland goes up. For the Fatherland's up, now everybody's seriously buffed here. We do have a first squad of Grenadiers out here as well. And pretty much just firing like crazy. The problem here is that this is unsustainable for AFKNinja. AFKNinja is taking casualties and having to pull back and retreat. Meanwhile, you can see if I just grab one of these guys here, let's see, who's busy dying and getting resupplied. They're all resupplying, that's the problem. These guys are totally able to resupply right on the field, and they're buffed out. They're just completely buffed and able to just stay on their own against Riflemen, no problem. So very strong anti-Rifleman opening build order here. So looking pretty good for YouKonwDefen, and AFKNinja has his work cut out for him. You can see he's diligently repairing his Greyhound armored car. At some point, he should try and upgrade this with a 50 cal machine gunner. He already has the armored skirts on it, but otherwise. He has his really has his work cut out for him. He needs to level up a little bit more. So AFKNinja is currently level 3, and it looks like YouKonwDefen is just about to hit level 4. Once again, trying to cap this fuel point. We'll see if we're going to see another reactive artillery, just like last time, or if he will be able to get that point. I'll keep an eye on that side of the map there. Meanwhile, and reactive artillery right as I moved away. There it goes. Let's see if anybody's going to take any casualties. Probably not, but it does force him to retreat. And there they go. Meanwhile, finally recapping this munitions point. Looks like he has enough units here to be able to hold on to this for at least a little while. And we can see for the most part, just dominating map positioning here for YouKonwDefen. He's just really well spread out, really well defended. Looking pretty good here. Anti-tank guns, a little bit of mines here. It is very common for an ally player to kind of run into your base with a Greyhound, so just kind of covering your back door with a Greyhound, with a mine to take out a Greyhound is really good. Single mine almost always nearly kills a Greyhound and destroys its engine or damages its engine, that sort of thing. So still just kind of hanging out here in a big blob. Normally this would be kind of vulnerable to strafing run or artillery or something like that, but until Calliope comes on the field, there's really nothing he has to worry about in terms of blobbing. Looks like another big push moving out towards these very vulnerable front areas. AFKNinja kind of quickly trying to reposition here. Armored car, it looks like it is finally getting the machine gun upgrade. The Rifleman just kind of scurrying around looking for any kind of cover. And you can see entrenched position on this tiny little thin piece of land. You can see how it's turning green in the mini-map there. Really odd choice. I think it's kind of a tiny portion of the map. You can see even if he moves a little bit left or right, he'll be out of it. But, he's just kind of staying there. It's a short buff. Recoup losses has been activated as well, for a little while at least, and just kind of firing back and forth. Looking pretty good, I do like how AFKNinja here, by the way, is taking just tons of cover behind this green cover, moving up his anti-tank gun, and just kind of sitting here in the back, although unfortunately he is getting picked off by this pack way in the back here, and he completely loses his Greyhound. So boom there, not looking too good. Meanwhile, entrenched positions once again activated, and oh, the half-track goes down to the anti-tank gun. Serious shooting going on there. That was a little bit of an oversight not to kind of move that out of the way. Anti-tank gun still like poking away at these guys, but not too much going on there. You can see YouKonwDefen is basically using all of his munitions just to kind of buff his own troops. We've already seen entrenched positions activated 2 times during that fight. And one thing that I really like about this, worth noting, is that he captured that under combat. He very deliberately took one squad and started capping it and then fought like crazy for it and just made sure that during that time he capped the point. A lot of times people just cap stuff after they win the fights, but if you have a numerical advantage, very good advice just to go ahead and do that. So meanwhile, just kind of anti-tank guns kind of plinking back and forth at each other. We get some perspective here on who's all out there. You can see this triage center being used to great effect as AFKNinja has tons and tons of troops. We go back to a more normal perspective here. Wilson's riflemen, I have no idea what they were doing up there. I totally missed them. They were kind of sneaking around, trying to cap some stuff. It looks like they were able to cap the crossroads once again. This is the only way to really deal with losing this one piece of territory here. We got Panzerschrecks and anti-tank guns firing everywhere. The Browning automatic rifles, though, really starting to chew into these guys. You can see how effective, as soon as these squads stand still for a second and the Browning really lets go, they're doing a lot of infantry damage now that they can't resupply. By the way, side note, I really like the fact that he's also taking green cover behind this. You can see there's green cover behind his wrecked vehicle there. Tanking a little bit of damage here with this pack, and the pack goes down. But look at the reinforcement. Look how much money he's getting. Just tons and tons of money pouring in from his lost troops. You know, sometimes, especially with things like barking Volkgrenadiers, if you get full recoup losses for them, you just want to lose the whole unit. You probably make a profit actually by losing the whole unit and letting medic bunkers pick up the bodies and all that. Speaking of medic bunkers, we do have aid station being dropped down here by the contracted pioneers. As well as a mortar team moving up. That's kind of clever. But this is never going to happen, unfortunately. These Browning automatic rifle guys just really laying down the pain. I mean, look at this. 18 kills for this squad, 10 kills for this squad. One thing that AFKNinja has done really well so far this game is he hasn't really lost a single rifleman squad. He may have, but he's just, you know, really preserving his squads and getting the most out of them. And as a result, he gets veterancy. So Flamethrower is moving up. Looks putting some burn on these guys. Looks like the anti-tank gun's still just chilling out there, and the rest of the Volkgrenadier is moving up. Good use of bad cover, by the way. As you probably know, flamethrowers do damage inversely proportional to the cover that you're in, so lightly covered units don't take much damage, and heavily covered units take bonus damage from fire. It's the opposite of normal weapons. You can see, once again, for the fatherland activated, intense fighting going on here in the center. And this is the point of the game where I like to just kind of remind people that this is the look and feel of really good Company of Heroes players, where the fighting is constant, the resupply is constant, and the macro and micro is constant. You can see all this time here he's upgrading his infantry to veterancy 2, he's been resupplying units and bringing them back, but constantly fighting, not just moving in one giant ball, but kind of, you know, a big circle of life and death just, you know, perpetually going, where units are coming to the front, units are retreating, units are being built, just kind of all at the same time. That's a very hard thing to do when you actually try to do it. It takes a lot of concentration and a lot of ability just to remember all the things you have to do. You have to constantly going through your list of to do, and you know. So both of these players doing that pretty well. In fact, YouKonwDefen doing that remarkably well because he has so many units to juggle. It's just like juggling balls in the air and that sort of thing. So these guys resupplying, heading back to the front. These guys just getting here. These guys currently fighting and dying. You know, just all over the place, taking control of business while maintaining map control. You can see that he's also waging the passive-aggressive war here and kind of running around with units on the sides of the battle as well. So very important to take care of that kind of stuff and remember that. So looks like the anti-tank gun here getting a couple of infantry kills, just randomly poking out there. And here we have Wilson's riflemen as well as the Vet 1 riflemen moving on in for some kills, along with the flame engineers. Recoup losses now activated. Just big, constant, massive fighting going on. I love these kind of games. Doesn't even really have time to upgrade this Greyhound just yet. Looks like it's just about to get armored skirts, but no, it's getting picked off by a pack. Get out of the way! Get out of— no! Oh, Greyhound goes down. No. He still had all of that munitions invested in him. So, a little bit of killing going on here, kind of point-blank shooting at these flame pioneers, trying to get them out of that house. Looks like he's probably going to get them. And now, take a look at this. So, contracted pioneers are here. If you have never played with this ability, contracted pioneers are like really buff pioneers who can build turrets. They can build bunkers that already have their functionalities. Normally, you have to build a bunker and then upgrade it to a machine gun. You know, these guys can build MG nests just straight up, or they can build medic bunkers straight up. They can also build 88s, and, you know, they have tons of cool upgrades, but very cool defense ability. And you'll see now that the circle is kind of complete in terms of the ability to benefit from Volkgrenadier spam now. So the way we have it is we have a whole lot of Vet 2 units on the field. They cost a lot less to reinforce, and when they die, if recoup losses are activated, you get paid for it. So you're kind of, you know, double dipping on the cost on each end of the equation here. But now when guys get shot and wounded, and it looks like this gentleman is just dead, but when they get shot and wounded, we have medic bunkers running around picking up the wounded, and every time they fill up one medic bunker, you get a whole squad for free again there. So I guess that guy is wounded. He is getting picked up, and we'll see if AFKNinja will tolerate the presence of medics. No, he's shooting medics left and right. Oh, the humanity. Anyhow, good idea, though. Very good idea to shoot medics. I hate saying that, but it's true. Same thing going on over here, but it looks like they may be focused a little bit more on taking out the mortar teams there, because that mortar team is going to start getting really annoying. That's one of the things that will really do damage. Oh, look at that mortar team taking a good shot there. And here comes our medic rescuing Hans here, bringing him back and going to turn him into a Grenadier squad one of these days. So having the double medic bunker there, super effective when combined with recruit losses, just when you look at it from an economic point of view. Really cheap. Tons and tons of infantry. And, you know, he has actually lost quite a bit of infantry, but, you know, he started gaining Grenadiers back. So we'll see how well that works out for him. But current count is 3 Volk squads, 1 mortar, 4 Grenadier squads. He's probably building Grenadiers at the same time. Yep. So, a bunch of Grenadier squads out there, as well as the contracted reinforcements. So, lots and lots of guys, but you'll notice this kind of late-game transition to Grenadiers instead of simply Volksgrenadiers. Grenadier is great because, of course, with Panzerschreck upgrades, they're extremely effective against light armor and things like that. So pretty much now any chance of... Oh, look at that! And now we do have the recoup losses activated, doing some serious damage there, but he's also getting paid for it. But I was going to say, once you have kind of swarms of Panzerschreck wielding Grenadiers on the field, there's not much else that you need to worry about in terms of tanks and things like that. Pretty much the only thing you have to worry about is Calliopes, and so we'll see that our defense player is now just massacring. I mean, just look at this firing squad here, just absolutely laying the hurt down. Pretty much AFKNinja's only hope now is to get some sort of a Calliope out. He is level 7, and he has just bought a Calliope! I'm an armor commander. Look at this, he's so impatient. He's just going to go ahead and fire. He's like, oh god, I've been waiting all game for this. I'll just fire at anything. So unfortunately, there are no targets there. I think that may have been a little bit preemptive on his part. He probably could have moved this Calliope up a little bit, assessed the situation, and then fired. But, you know, he just really wants to fire. And if you've got the munitions for it, I think it's almost always a good idea to fire your Calliope at something. We do have a house full of Vet 2 riflemen right now, just kind of being annoying out here. And even calling down reactive artillery on the house, I think that's a little excessive, but, you know, it works. It causes them to have to pull out of there. They do retreat. Do we get any more reactive artillery shots? No, just kind of hitting the house in general. But big attacks going on here. I'm going to try my best to keep up with this Calliope, because suddenly my focus is going to switch towards seeing what AFKNinja can possibly do in this situation if he can resist this overwhelming force of recoup losses, Volksgrenadiers, and Grenadiers. So